I just did a photo shoot with my Flora fluorescent lights from Linco, and I was pleasantly surprised. I must admit I was a little bit concerned before I started using them that maybe there was going to be an inconsistent output or maybe even an unattractive color cast. But no, I have been pleasantly surprised by them after playing around with them and doing this shoot with them. They're great. Let me show you what's in the kit. There are 3 lights, each with their own soft boxes and stands, and it all comes in 2 carrying cases, 2 really nice carrying cases, I should add. 2 of the lights are on me right now, so there's only 1 in the bag, but here it is. This is one of the lights. It doesn't have the light bulbs in it. Those come packaged separately, but still with the kit, which is nice. And also in this bag are the soft boxes. Here is one of the soft boxes. They actually come, they go in this bag, but they each come in their own little bag as well. And I wanted to show you how easy they are to set up. You just, they're kind of like an umbrella, but sort of backwards. You pull this cord, a little bit tangled. Here we go. You just pull up on this cord and the whole thing snaps open. And then there's this, little cover that goes on there, and this just fits right over your light. It's really nice and easy. Now, for the light stand, those have their own bag, but all 3 light stands fit into this bag, and it actually has dividers for them, which is really nice. But here is one of the light stands. One of the things that I like about these lights is that they provide continuous lighting. And that's helpful for me because I can see my whole lighting situation without ever having to even take a photo. That becomes especially helpful when I'm using a lighter backdrop like this one, where you'll get shadows on the backdrop from your lighting. So why I like continuous lighting is that I can move my lighting around my model and I can see the shadow moving. And with a strobe type light, you can't do that. You have to take pictures every time. Now for me, that becomes especially important because I take a lot of self-portraits. I model for myself a lot. So it takes one thing out of the equation for me as I'm running around trying to figure out lighting positions and ratios. It's one less thing. I can see where the lighting is and where my shadows are on me as the model or on my actual model and on the backdrop without ever actually having to run back to the camera to take a photo. You have 2 power settings on the back of these lights. You have half power and you have full power. When I first started working with these lights, I thought I was actually going to want more flexibility in the power output, but then I realized that I can get pretty much all of what I want to get done just by changing my camera settings. Now when I'm using strobes as my lighting, when I change shutter speed, it won't have any effect. But when I'm using these, because it's continuous lighting, I can hold the aperture constant and then change my shutter speed to affect my exposure. In reality, when I'm using any kind of lighting, be it strobes or this continuous lighting, I adjust the position of the lighting far more than I adjust the output. I love the compact light stands that come with this kit. They're pretty nice, and they have feet on them so that they don't scratch up my floors. I also love the bags that the equipment comes in. The bag for the lights is really nice. It's totally padded, and there's individual slots for the lights and the soft boxes. So all of those things fit in here. And then the light stand bag is really nice as well. As I mentioned earlier, it has individual slots for each of the light stands so they don't clank up against each other, which I just really like. Now, one thing you do have to be careful with when you're packing this away is the light bulbs. As you can see, there are a number of light bulbs, and they're glass, they're pretty delicate, so you have to be careful when you're packing them away. I recommend keeping the boxes that the light bulbs come in because you can't pack the the lights into these bags without taking all those light bulbs out. So that makes the whole solution a little bit less portable than some of the other solutions out there. But like I said, you know, as long as you're careful, I like to keep the boxes, you'll be okay. And these bags really are just so nice. When I got to shooting, white balance was a little bit of a challenge. I usually am able to use either auto white balance or at least one of the camera's presets. However, with these lights, it took a little bit of extra work. I could have used the preset function and used a white balance card, or I could have used the Kelvin function. But what I did was I was able to use the auto white balance, but I warmed it up a bit. For today's shoot, I did a number of iterations with these lights. First, I started with one light with its softbox on, and I got right up close to it like this. It was on full power. And I wanted to get some good single light dimensional lighting, which gives a real dramatic look. And the photos looked like this. Next, I added a light for a 2-light setup. I moved the lights back a bit, and I used my primary light at full power and my fill light at half power. It still gave me some dimension, but it just wasn't quite as dramatic as the 1-light setup. And here's an example of that. And finally, I pulled the 3rd light in. I've got 2 of them behind me here, and one of them is lighting me. Now, there's really only 2 situations in which I would use 3 lights of this size. The first is when I would be shooting a large group of people or a large object like a car, and you'd get a photo like this. The second situation is in product photography, where you want no shadows whatsoever. You would have all 3 lights with the soft boxes on them at full power, and you would just get light everywhere. So the setup would look like this. And then the photo you would get would look like this. Now, I've only shown you a few examples today. This lighting kit comes with 3 lights, so there are a lot more things you can do with them. It does come with the 3 soft boxes, but you can even use umbrellas with these lights, so that expands your options even more. Now, some people prefer strobes, and some people prefer continuous lighting, but some people, like me, like to have both. As continuous lighting goes, this setup is great. It comes with these easy to assemble soft boxes, and the lights themselves put off very little heat, so you don't have the fire hazard that you do with incandescent or halogen lights. And I was a little worried about flickering or color temperature, but those didn't prove to be a problem at all. And I was accustomed to fully adjustable power output when it comes to my lighting, but I didn't feel limited there either. So let's see, although this isn't the most portable solution, it did come with those great bags. So all in all, I would say that this is a very effective lighting setup.